Welcome to the City of Bakersfield Planning Commission meeting. This television broadcast is brought to you by the local cable companies, the County of Kern, and the City of Bakersfield. You can watch the rebroadcast of this meeting Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. The agenda for this meeting can be downloaded at www.bakersfieldcity.us. Presiding over this evening's meeting, Chair Zach Bashir-Tosh.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to call to order the June 15, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chair Bashir-Tosh.
Here.
Vice Chair Cater.
Here.
Commissioner Biddle.
Here.
Commissioner Core.
Here.
Commissioner Coman.
Here.
Commissioner Lomas.
Here.
Commissioner Neal.
Madam Clerk, next item, please. Oh, sorry. Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 3A, public statements.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address the commission regarding items listed on tonight's agenda? If you are here for non-consent public hearing items 6A through 6E, now is not the time to speak. You will be given an opportunity to speak when those items are called later in the meeting.
Non-agenda item 3B, public statements.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address the commission regarding items not listed on tonight's agenda? If so, please come forward and state your name. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 4, consent calendar items.
All matters listed under the consent items do not require a public hearing and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of said items unless staff or a commissioner requests specific items be discussed and removed for separate action. May I get a motion approving the consent items?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Please cast your votes.
Motion passes with Commissioner Neal absent.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 5, consent public hearings.
Now is the time for consent public hearing items. If the item is not removed by a commissioner, staff, or a member of the public, the commission will vote on all items in one motion without further comment. If an item is removed, it will be placed at the end of the non-consent public hearing items. At this time, I will open all of the consent public hearing items. Does any member of the public wish to remove a consent public hearing item? Does any commissioner or staff wish to remove a consent public hearing item? Seeing none at this time, the consent public hearing items not removed are now closed. May I get a motion to adopt staff's recommendation on the consent public hearing items not removed, incorporating all staff memoranda and revised staff recommendations?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Please cast your votes. I'd like to note that Commissioner Neal is here, and we are happy to see you.
And it's 5:34 p.m.
5:34, thank you. Yes?
Motion passes with Commissioner Neal absent.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 6, non-consent public hearings.
Now is the time for non-consent public hearing items. Before we begin, I want to explain how the hearing will be conducted. Staff will first give a report, then those in favor of the project will be allowed to speak. Those in opposition to the project will be able to speak after all of those in favor have spoken. Each side will be given 5 minutes to provide rebuttal comments. Individual speakers may ask questions during their statements, but the questions will not be answered until the public hearing on that item is closed. Written comments may be given to the clerk, who will provide copies to the commission. Please be respectful of others participating in the hearing by not repeating the remarks of previous speakers and presenting any new comments or thoughts in a concise and clear way. Mr. Johnson, would you please provide us with your staff report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. These items on the regular agenda are all extensions of time for subdivision maps. So what I'd like to do is start with giving a brief overview of the discretionary process and then what California state law has authorized. So there are two governing documents, guidance documents that we use for subdivisions, and that's the California Government Code, otherwise known as the Subdivision Map Act, and then the Bakersfield Municipal Code for local jurisdiction. Initial map approvals are, according to the Subdivision Map Act, minimum of 2 years, maximum of 4 years. Locally, we have an ordinance that says they shall expire after 3 years. The Map Act says they may be extended for a period or periods of time not exceeding 6 years, while the Municipal Code says any extensions will be stopped at 6 years. And again, city policy is to approve these in 2 3-year blocks of time. Since 2008, there have been 6 Senate bills and Assembly bills that have authorized automatic extensions of time for a total of 10.5 years. We would draw your attention to AB 1561, which is the most recent. That one allowed 18 months or a year and a half. So when I go through some of these timelines, you'll see a 6-month difference from when the maps were approved to the current expiration date. So the first item, 6A, is a 3-year extension time request for vesting tentative tract map 6397. This is located at the northeast corner of East Berkshire Road and Madison Street in southeast Bakersfield. It is zoned for single-family residential. It's consistent with the land use designation of LR, which allows less than or equal to 7.26 dwelling units a net acre. This map is approximately 27 acres and has 122 lots for single-family development. This map was approved by your commission in November of 2005. At that time, this map was in the county jurisdiction. At the same time, a request for annexation to the city was submitted. And so it's policy, obviously, that the map does not take effect until the annexation is approved, which was approved December of 2006, which is why you see from approval of November 3rd, 2005 to December 26, 2009, that's why it looks like it's more than 3 years, but it actually is only 3 years from when it was annexed into the city. It was eligible for the California extensions of time, and then your commission considered the first 3-year extension of time in 2018. Again, then it went to the 18-month extension of time, which is now on a June 26, 2023 is when it's due to expire. And so the applicant is requesting their second extension of time through the Bakersfield Municipal Code, which will take it, if approved, to June 26, 2026. Public notification of this did not garner any comments in support or opposition. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of the 3-year extension of time. And that completes my presentation.
The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and then proceed.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I'm Dave Domachowski, representing the Kern County Home Builders Association. I just wanted to speak in support of the staff recommendation on these map extensions. Clearly, the initial entitlements, general plan, zoning, and mapping are essential to the development and construction process, but I believe it's also essential to preserve entitlements wherever you can because of the extreme complexity of California's planning and zoning laws and just the uncertainty of our economic situation. Since the Great Recession, we've had great turmoil in the home building industry. Currently, we're struggling with supply chain issues relating to PG&E transformers. Insurance is becoming more and more expensive to obtain for multifamily and other projects. And plus interest rates are going through the roof. So anything you can do to keep these projects alive, we can support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing none, does any commissioners have any questions for the public on this item? Remember, this is not a time to express any opinions on the matter. It is only a time to ask questions. Is there anyone who wishes to provide so it's rebuttal time, right?
We don't
Do
have a rebuttal.
No? Yeah?
Yeah.
So then I will now close the public hearing item and return to the commission for comment and action. Does any commissioner have any comments? Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve item 6A.
A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Please cast your votes. Is yours working? She was down. She's up now. Oh, good.
Item 6A passes.
So now we just jump into 6B? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
The report.
The public hearing is now open for item 6B. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the project? Please. Oh, yeah, you have to.
I'll go ahead and give a
Sorry.
presentation if that's okay. I'll keep it brief.
Yeah.
So this is, again, a 3-year extension of time, this one for vesting tentative track map 6567. This is located northwest corner of College Avenue and Morning Drive in northeast Bakersfield. Zoning, again, is R1 for single-family dwellings. The land use designation is consistent with that. This map is on just over approximately 105.5 acres, provides for 298 lots of single-family dwellings. This map was approved December 7th, 2006, was subject to the state's automatic extensions of time, and then your commission considered the first 3-year extension of time in 2019. That was approved, extending it out to December 6, 2021. And again, with the 18-month extension from the state, this is due to expire June 6th, 2023. Therefore, the second extension of time, if approved tonight, would take us out to June 6th, 2026. Again, no comments were submitted in support or opposition. Therefore, staff recommends approval of this 3-year extension of time. That completes my presentation.
Okay, the public hearing is now open for item 6B. If there's anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the project, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and then proceed. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition of the project? Please step to the microphone and proceed. Does any commissioner have any questions for the public on this item? Remember, this is not a time to express any opinions on the matter. It is only a time to ask questions. Okay. I will now close the public hearing on the item and return to the commission for comment and action. Commissioner Neal?
I'm extremely tired today. Just, it's really hard to continue to see 20-year-old maps or maps that won't expire for 20 years. That's my only comment. It's kind of frustrating to see that, but I understand that there's a legal right to some of this that was granted, by our, and some of this is policy, city policy too. But again, the comment is that it's annoying because we want to see the development. So that's all.
Sorry, Commissioner Coman, just found the screen that showed me you wanted to speak. It's my first night.
That's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Bastratash. This is kind of in furtherance of Ms. Neal's comments. This represents 825 homes that we really could use in Kern County or Bakersfield. But I understand that the market conditions are what market conditions are. And I don't know that not approving the maps is going to get those houses there any faster. So I think this is a catch-22 that we find ourselves in. And I think we need to have some further discussion as a city about how we do those maps in the future. But I think that all of these maps were approved under those expectations that there would be at least the allotted extensions of time, which we're exercising now. And the fact that the state came along and did whatever the state did is beyond our control. So I would, at this point, want to recommend that we be able to vote on items 6B and 6C at the same time, seeing as they're both the same developer in the same circumstances. Do we need to actually hear 6C, or can we vote on B and C at the same time?
Legally, these are separate items. You'll need to take separate actions. If you'd like to forego the presentation on 6C, that could be accommodated.
I would recommend that we forego the presentation on 6C, and can we just vote one time and approve item B and item C, or not?
Legally, the vote should be separate, so you can ask for a motion for 6B, take your vote, and then you can ask for a motion for 6C. Although you should open up the hearing in case somebody wants to speak on 6C.
Okay.
Because they're in a hearing, we have to give
Okay.
them due process.
Great. So I'll make a motion to approve item 6B if there's no more discussion about it.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
Item 6B passes.
Since we are foregoing the presentation for item 6C, is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor of the project? Please step to the microphone, state your name. Identify-
Chair Bastratash, can you open the hearing first?
Oh yes, the hearing is now open for item 6C. Now, is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and then proceed. Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Does any commissioner have any questions for the public on this item? Remember, this is not a time to express any opinions on the matter, it's only a time to ask questions. I will now close the public hearing on the item and return to the commission for comment and action. Any action? Commissioner Coman?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 6C, extension of time for vesting tentative track map 6568.
I'll second that.
Please cast your votes.
Item 6C passes.
Do we have a staff report for item 6D?
We do, thank you. This, again, is another 3-year extension of time request for a map on the southeast corner of Brook Street and Hale Street in southeast Bakersfield. This one is zoned R2 for limited multiple family dwellings with a consistent designation of R2 for greater than 4 and less than 10 dwelling units a net acre. This is a 40.5 acre parcel, map with 222 lots for single-family development. Again, this is another one that was approved on December 7th, 2006, and with the state extensions of time and your commission's first approval of a 3-year extension of time, this map is also due to expire, or I should say expired June 6, 2023, which is why they are asking for this 3-year request to extend that to June 6th, 2026. And again, no comments in support or opposition were received as part of the public notification process. Therefore, staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. The public hearing is now open for item 6D. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and then proceed. Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and then proceed. Seeing none, does any commissioner have any questions for the public on this item? Remember, this is not a time to express opinions on the matter. It is only a time to ask questions. Commissioner Neal?
Is the applicant present? I don't know what these people, oh, okay. Oh, they just don't want to speak to us, right? Okay, noted, thank you.
I will now close the public hearing on the item and return to the commission for comment and action. Commissioner Neal?
I volunteer my time for this. I have a 3-year-old son, and I love this because I love this city. It bothers me that the applicants, I've seen them walk out on the items that we just approved, come and show up, but don't actually engage us and just sit and wait for a decision. It's annoying because it's bureaucracy, and they know we're just gonna approve it because we're dealing with things that are outside of our control. But to be here and be in our presence and not even engage us just makes me feel like this role that I'm volunteering my time for is not really serious to the people who hold these entitlements. I'm just annoyed by that. Sorry I didn't get to say it sooner. I didn't realize those people were here for the items that they didn't speak on. But not happy with that, especially because we see some of the same faces all the time. And I'm kind of frustrated today that this review for all of us was inundated with these maps, and people are here for these maps but won't even speak to us. So just wanted to make that comment. Thank you.
And I would also like to mention, I feel like with the extensions of time as they continue, it gets more expensive to build. The laws change. Now you have to build certain things, and it's like waiting for the right time. As a business owner, I understand it, but I feel like the windows to build have been there. We've seen developers do it. I want the projects. I like the projects. I want to see them happen, but it's not going to get cheaper to build. I don't foresee that happening. I think the laws are going to increase, so that's my opinion. Anyone want to make a motion?
I guess I'll make a motion to approve item 6D.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Commissioner Cater and Carr. Please cast your votes.
Motion, item 6D passes.
Mr. Johnson, do you have a staff report for item 6E?
I do, 6E being the last one. Before I move on to that one, just to kind of lighten the mood, I'd like to note those last previous ones. Commissioner Lomas was chair at that time. This is item 6E, extension of time, again, 3-year. This project is located south of Olive Drive between Santa Fe Way and Renfro Road in northwest Bakersfield. Primarily R1 zone with a little sliver of R2 zone in the southwest corner. The designation is consistent with the zoning. This is a 20-acre map with 87 lots for single-family development. So this map was not eligible for any of the state extensions, so it was approved in 2017. Your commission approved the first EOT in 2020, so this is their second and final request for 3 years. So if approved, this will expire April 19th, 2026. Public notification, we received a bunch of comments in opposition. We received none. And therefore, staff is recommending approval of this 3-year extension of time.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. The public hearing for item 6E is now open. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor of the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the project? Please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing none, does any commissioner have any questions for the public on this item? Remember, this is not a time to express any opinions on the matter. It is only a time to ask questions. Wow. Commissioner Cater.
This is a question for staff. I am just a little intrigued by the map set for this one and curious about the relationship to zoning and parcels. That small sliver of R2 in an otherwise R1, I was just curious, does that happen a lot in our city in planning?
Not typically, but on a map like this, what we do is we look at the totality of the map and make sure it meets the density, minimum density requirements. So we don't exactly look at that, let's just say 1 acre or 3/4 acre of R2. And I'll go back.
Do you mind pulling up the map set just to kind of, it's just very interesting that.
So we don't look at the density for that just sliver of R2. We're looking at the density for the entire map on this one. Is that your question?
Well, it's just an interesting, because it would be a very challenging effort to build within the constraints of R2 and how R2 is laid out there. And so I'm just curious how the parcels are considered when zoning is overlaid. Just seems like a very weird, unbuildable R2 triangle.
I would have to go back and research on when the zoning occurred in this area versus the parcelization. And I wasn't not prepared for that.
And I was just curious, lightening the mood with academic interest. Yeah, okay. Everyone loves to talk about planning when they want to lighten the mood. Yeah, but I was just curious. Thank you.
I just deleted the next person. Was it Commissioner Coleman? Was it you? Commissioner Neal, I'm sorry.
You tired of me already?
No, never.
This is
Absolutely
your first
not.
day as chair.
We got all night.
Is the applicant here? Hi.
Thank you. Commissioner Core.
I have a question for staff. You said that this map wasn't eligible for state extension. Why this map wasn't eligible?
Yes, and that'll be in getting ahead of myself a little bit. I'm going to have a workshop at the next meeting, and I will go over each of the Senate bills and Assembly bills and give you the if, then, else on how maps qualify. But because of when this was initially approved and when it expired, it didn't meet the requirements for any of the state extensions primarily because it's a newer map that was just approved in 2017 compared to like 2005, 2006.
Commissioner Coleman?
I'm sorry, I thought we were opining, so I'll wait until we're
Oh,
giving opinions. So I forgot that we were still in the question stage, so
okay.
I apologize I don't know how to undo it once I put the request for
Oh, you're okay.
to speak there.
Well, on that note, I will now close the public hearing on item and return to the commission for comment and action. Commissioner Coleman?
Yeah, and to further Mr. Cater's comments about the R2, actually, can't they build R2 and R1 zoning anyway?
Not necessarily. You can build R1 projects in R2 zone, so you can have single-family homes in an R2 zone, but you can't have a density of like a duplex in an R1 zone.
Aren't some communities getting rid of the R1 zoning?
Other jurisdictions?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Are we looking at that at all?
Not at this time.
Okay. I did see a development, and I'm not exactly sure. I think it was in Lompoc or one of those communities, and within an R1 tract of homes, there were R2 structures scattered through there. In other words, you'd go down the street and there would be single-family houses, and maybe one or two on each block were actually duplexes. And I thought that was a really good way to increase your density and blend those two together to where an average person wouldn't notice that, oh, that's a duplex. We would notice it because that's what we do, but I think we should encourage those kind of things in the future.
If I may respond to that, the state allows for accessory dwelling units, so we are seeing tract maps that come in or subdivision maps that come in where you have a home and then you may have a garage and then you have an ADU, which is, as long as it's considered separate, you can have up to 1,200 square feet. So we do have some tracts locally where some may consider, is that a duplex? It may look like a duplex kind of going in on the site, but it is actually a single-family resident and an ADU. So we are allowed, and then both of those could be rented out, or one could be lived in, or they could both be sold.
Okay, thank you. I would like to make a motion, if there are no other comments, to approve item 6E.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Please cast your vote.
Item 6E passes.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 7, communications.
Does staff have any communication items at this time?
Yes, I would like to note the next meeting on July 6th is the scheduled meeting that will not be occurring. So our next meeting where we'll meet in here is on July 20th, at which time we will have a workshop on extensions of time for maps. And again, it's going to be a kind of a longer workshop, and it's just dealing with extensions of time. If that's going to draw additional questions, like on finalizing a map and everything, we probably have to have another workshop on that. So, but we will give a good background on extending time for maps. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 8, commission comments.
It went away. Mr. Commissioner Coleman, I think is first on here. I'm going to go ahead and
Thank
call on
you. I wanted to thank staff for being patient with us on this whole issue. I think all the commissioners at some point have expressed frustration about these extensions of time, and I think it probably wouldn't even be an issue if the state hadn't, stepped in the middle of the mix. So I want to thank you for your patience in answering our questions and dealing with our rantings, and I really look forward to your presentation in July.
Yeah. Commissioner Neal?
I look forward to your presentation in July, too. The only issue is I will be on a cruise.
Oh.
So
It will be on TV.
I will need to watch the YouTube recording for that. I wish I was here. I guess you guys are getting away with not having to answer questions from me at that.
You can
So-
feel free, like the chair said, they are live, so you can text in questions if you like.
Nice. All right, thanks.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 9, adjournment.
This meeting is adjourned at 6:05 p.m., June 15th, 2023.